Welcome back to 20 Minutes or Less. My name is Elliot Morgan.
I'm Joe Beretta.
No, you're not.
Okay.
The results are in, and Florida has some serious explaining to do. The FCAT, or the Florida Comprehensive Assessment Test, is a standardized test for students of the Florida public school system. Yesterday, the preliminary writing results were released, and only 27% of fourth graders passed with a 4.0 or better out of 6.
Those results are drastically different from a year ago when 81% of students passed the writing test. It dropped in 1 year from 81% to 27%, and 8th and 10th graders saw similar drops.
Shockingly, a conversation regarding kids failing at a test is falling on the test itself. One factor blamed for the steep decline in passing grades is new higher standards, because if there's one thing that we're not into here in America, it's higher standards. And now that so many schools are failing, remedial programs must be created, which, costs money. An
emergency meeting was held just this morning to discuss possibly changing the standards of the FCAT. Commissioner Gerard Robinson proposed lowering a passing grade from 4 to 3.5. That's a passing grade at 58%. But even with the new grading system, the amount of passing kids would still be lower than what they were in 2011. So they've lowered the passing grade to 3 out of 6 this year, which equates roughly to the same amount of students passing as last year. Standardized test my ass.
The new standards on the test included things like placing a heavier emphasis on things like grammar and punctuation. Wait, what?
So what?
That's so silly.
What? A writing test that vigorously tests your writing? That's ridiculous.
It's so absurd. In the age of emoticons and internet acronyms, a test that hopes to make sure students understand the difference between then, than, it's, and the differences in all the different theirs is a good thing. But another concern is that these results aren't a reflection of actual intelligence, but are instead the result of education officials being hell-bent on getting better scores for their tests.
Another angle is that the entire FCAT writing test is a huge waste of time. There are those who believe that you can't objectively test a student's ability to write.
And it's with a comma. No wonder the students are failing drastically when those in charge can't figure out how to properly score a test. All that said, the real concern here is that these scores are not artificially low, but that the previous scores were actually artificially high. And if that's the case, may God have mercy on our souls.
The whole idea of a standardized test is to test the objective knowledge and ability of students before allowing them to pass the grade. You can't have a functional standardized test if you are constantly changing the standard. It's right in the title, man, you know?
Yeah.
Standardized testing.
Standard.
Ized testing. There's a standard. It's standardized. You can't keep changing the standard.
So I grew up in Florida and I took the FCAT multiple times, and I have completely mixed feelings about it. It was a huge deal in Florida where a lot depended on whether you passed. On one hand, I'm like, look, this is ridiculous. Kids learn in different ways. Teachers sometimes do a crappy job. The stakes are too high. We shouldn't hold kids to objective standards. On the other hand, everyone should know the basics. That said, maybe it's less about the testing and more about the teaching. If emphasis put on the learning process instead of the testing process, maybe, I don't know, everyone will win, including the taxpayers.
Yeah, standardized test sounds great, except when it comes to actually doing it. And then you have the whole taxpayer dollar thing, and then you get all the cooks in the kitchen. And the standardized test never truly tests anything other than a couple crash courses the students take a week before the exam.
So what do you think? What is the best way to make sure that American students learn the basics all across the board? Let us know your thoughts on the matter in the comments section located in the southern hemisphere of this YouTube page.
And then we would appreciate some likes and some subscribing, and then you can click this annotation or go to SourceFed.com to see the 5 stories of the day are all the stories that we've ever covered here at SourceFed. I'm Joe Beretta.
I'm Elliot Morgan. I just Christmas treed all of it.
My answer was always B.